My name is Adrian Pittman. I'm the co-founder of FutureMidwest, and today we're here with Jason Schmitt. He's the Detroit correspondent for the Huffington Post, and he's also a presenter for the FutureMidwest conference. So, Jason, thank you very much for joining us. First off,
glad to be here. Thank you.
Your presentation is entitled "What Tech Firms Can Learn from Detroit Rock and Roll."
That's correct, and that also was a recent article that I wrote for Huffington Post, and it got a good amount of publicity, and excited to bring it to your venue. And it's going to be addressing specifically what new tech firms can gain from the longitudinal success of rock and roll. And if I'm talking about rock and roll, I have to pay homage to Detroit. And so, of course, that's where I went with my research. And it's really looking at how Detroit has cultivated relevancy for 60-plus years and done so in an international venue, and it's done so well.
Excellent. Well, give us a little preview. I mean, what are some of the correlations that you're seeing between Detroit rock and roll and the opportunity for tech industries, or tech companies here?
Sure. Well, I came across this really interesting study from 1971. It was done by a geographer of all things, and his name was Larry Ford. And he looked at music centers around the United States and what regions cultivated good music. And so, being interested in music and creativity, I thought that was interesting. And I kind of noted that, and I came across another study by Richard Florida, and he had looked at the new tech growth markets of recent. We're talking like 2009, 2010.
Right.
And when I looked at those two graphs, side by side, national maps, the same regions that cultivated such great music are also those regions that are really breeding good, innovative ideas in this new tech workforce.
Interesting.
So that's the parallel.
Interesting. Okay, so literally the best music also tends to grow the best places for business startup.
I think that creativity, the aspect of having a creative idea, I mean, it's not exclusive for any industry. For instance, I grew up reading a book by a woman named Julia Cameron, and she wrote about the act of writing regularly to get creative ideas flowing. And so at the time I was big into music and I was a musician, so I did that daily, writing in this journal that she suggested. But I also noticed that other avenues in my life were also becoming a little bit more vibrant, having big ideas. So yeah, the creative sector blossoms to a wide range.
Interesting, yeah, so a lot of the same techniques that make someone artistically creative can also make them a successful business person.
Absolutely. Right. Whether it's a Les Paul or an iPad, I'm going to argue that the creative ideas go to everything.
Excellent. All right. So then at the conference, just paint me a picture of if I'm an attendee, I'm a chief marketing officer,
sure.
Someone from the communications or technology industry. What are some of the takeaways that I'm going to get from this presentation?
Well, I'm going to unpack specifically 4 things that the Detroit community has done well to be vibrant and relative to national audiences for those 60-plus years. I'm going to look at Detroit's local media and how that has played to shape Detroiters to be able to avoid homogenization more readily. I'm going to look at the suburban culture and how that's really allowed different breeds of Detroiters to commingle. And I'm going to look at kind of how Detroit has maintained its gumption from the 1960s to 2010. Really the direction that Detroit's focused on hasn't shifted a whole lot. And I think those really transcend to the tech firms quite well.
Interesting. Okay, so if I'm looking to either set up shop here in the Midwest or the Detroit region in particular, or I'm looking for new ways to approach creative thought processes in my business, I should be in attendance to your presentation.
I would recommend it, and I'd be happy to have you.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jason.
Oh, Adrian, my pleasure.
Excellent. Yeah. So again, Jason Schmitt, Detroit correspondent for Huffington Post, also presenter of FutureMidwest, and look forward to seeing you at the conference and seeing Jason.